So Microsoft have announced the School Data Sync general availability. You may have heard about this maybe at the BET show in January, or you may have read about it on some of the blogs and sites at Microsoft, and you might have also seen it appearing in the Office 365 roadmap. So School Data Sync is getting your school information into Office 365 so it can then be consumed by other services and partners. So at the moment for UK schools it's got limited usefulness. So we'll have a quick look at how you could use School Data Sync information inside Office 365 currently in the UK. So what this effectively does is School Data Sync populates Office 365 with Office 365 Azure AD with some custom attributes, and those attributes include things like the school name, if they're a teacher or a student, so it can technically provision your users for you as students or as teachers. However, in the UK, most schools have an Active Directory domain system, so that won't be much use for them because you'll sync up users using Azure AD Sync, so you won't need to actually create users via this method. And the word sync is a bit misleading at the moment because it doesn't actually sync both ways. It's just one-way data transfer, and it's from a spreadsheet rather than actually syncing regularly. So it's not a complete solution at the moment, but it will be very useful in the future. And I'm sure that lots of partners will be developing against it soon to provide lots of rich services and add-ons to Office 365 for the education market in the UK. So if we have a quick look at it, so you should be able to sign up now for it by going to the SDS address. So you'll see that you've got a panel here where you can set up your School Data Sync. And if I go to set this up, it will then ask me to create a profile and then pick how I'm going to connect my school data. Now in the UK we don't use PowerSchool or Clever, so that will just be a CSV file, so a spreadsheet. So if I type in school name, so I'll type in my school name there. So I can create and sync new users, or I can sync existing users. So again, for most schools in the UK, it will be syncing existing users, and then you can choose how you want to match up those users. So it might be a student number, ID, username, and then you go through the process on here. So if I just select student number and my domain suffix, so match the student number to user principal name, and I'll do the same for the teachers as well, so teacher number to user principal name. Okay, so on this next page we then select the domain name, and then we can leave it to automatically assign the Microsoft Classroom licenses, and you can allow teachers to change their names if you wanted to. So it's already then to populate, and I can pick which of the fields I want to pull in from my Sims or whatever system I'm using that's going to be exporting these spreadsheets as. At the moment some of this is quite Americanized, so grade actually means year group. There's a few other things there as well that aren't still quite American, haven't really been transferred across yet. So again, I can select which properties I want to move across for each of these. And again, you can see teacher roster there as well. So still in development, but this will eventually become very powerful, hopefully. So I've selected all the properties I'm going to press submit. That will then create a new profile. When I've got a new profile, I can then sync up my spreadsheets. So that's created my profile, and it's going to take a few seconds to set that up. So I'm just going to wait a few minutes and then press F5 on the page, and we can see that it's now ready. So I can upload my files, so my spreadsheet files. So then it asks me to upload my CSV files. And if you click on Understanding CSV files at the bottom there, that will bring up what spreadsheets are required. So you're going to need 8 of them all together. And in each of these you can have a look at what information is required, and it'll give you an example of that information. So it's going to be quite a manual process. You can do your reports from SIMS or CMIS, but you're probably going to have to do some manual intervention to get those ready to be synced up. When you have synced them up, at the moment, like I say, the use is quite limited at the moment, but you can use those groups and those sections that you import into SDS as part of the Microsoft Classroom product. So any groups that you've got that you import will automatically appear in here, and you have the right teachers assigned to those groups and the right students assigned to those groups, but you will have to re-import those spreadsheets every time something in those groups changes. It doesn't sync those at the moment. Now there is a tool coming out by Salamander, and that should automatically create these spreadsheets from your MIS data for you, so keep a lookout for that. Hopefully that should be released in the summer. So hopefully that's giving you an idea of what School Data Sync is at the moment. Like I say, it's still in its early stages, and we expect it to get much better and actually provide some nice tools for other partners in the education market to then integrate additional products. So really looking forward to that, and keep an eye on the Office 365 roadmap over the next few months.